The first full forensic audit for the 2020 election began in Maricopa County, Arizona on April 23rd, despite overwhelming opposition. Democrats sent over 70 lawyers to try and stop it.
They keep claiming that this election was done perfectly and then there's no integrity violations, that it was done properly, but yet they don't want anybody to verify that they're correct. So obviously they're afraid of what we may find.
Even with the audit now in full swing, the attempts to obstruct it continue as ever.
There's always a danger. The Democrats have unlimited resources. They will try to bury you with big firms. They will try to bury you with paper.
Why is it important for America that this audit happens? And why are there such fierce attempts to try and stop it?
Moving on to the further arguments that Mr. Grill made on 600.4545 and 168.861, Mr. Grill stated that any irregularities in the election would be revealed by a recount of the actual ballots. I ask Mr. Grill, opposing counsel, or the court, or anyone, tell me, show me one single election from November 3rd, 2020, where anyone's been able to actually do an audit of the ballots. There's one place that's occurred. It's happening right now in Maricopa County. Otherwise, no one is allowed to do it. These Secretary of States and these county officials tell us over and over again that if we want to verify that there was no fraud, what we need to do is just pull out the ballots and look at them. And every time anyone across the country says, let me look at the ballots, they immediately will fight you. We even have now talk of the Department of Justice coming into Maricopa County to try to shut that audit down. They don't want people to look at ballots. Secretary of State Benson doesn't want people to look at ballots. Antrim County Clerk Cheryl Guy doesn't want people to look at ballots, and they don't want people to look at them because we believe that when you look at them, they will prove our findings. They will help prove that what we've disclosed here through our investigation of the forensic audits, through the testing we've done, that we'll show you that those ballots aren't correct. They don't match up to the actual results. In some cases, there's probably ballots that have been photocopied. They're not printed on the correct paper. The signatures aren't going to match up with absentee envelopes. So let's abuse ourselves of the fact or the idea that if we want to inspect an election or to verify results, we should just look at the ballots.
Oh, yeah, we have it all right now. It
We know that there's been no audit done in this case. We also know that MCL 160.31A2 actually limits the Constitution in its language. And that statute says the Secretary of State shall prescribe the procedures for election audits, a key word, that include reviewing the documents, ballots, and procedures used during an election, as required by Section 4 of Article 2 of the Constitution. It's even that statute recognizes there has to be an audit, and we would review the documents, ballots, and procedures. And I can guarantee you that in no event has Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson done anything even close to that. At the very most, she's done a hand recount of 18,000 ballots. She's done no audit. She's reviewed no documents, no ballots, and no procedures at all. It just never happened. She's also provided no training. This statute requires, we believe, as we wrote in our brief, this statute requires the Antrim County Clerk to perform the audit under the supervision of the Michigan Secretary of State. It further orders the Antrim County Clerk to report the results of the audit to the Secretary of State pursuant to MCL 160.31A3. So if you think about that, all that happened here on December 17th was the Secretary of State came in to Antrim County, where she first declared there would be an audit based on her notices to everyone, there's going to be an audit. Then the day before, she changed that to a hand recount, which was conducted by the Secretary of State. And nothing was done by the Antrim County Clerk at all. It was all done by the Secretary of State. So the Antrim County Clerk never performed any type of audit, and certainly didn't perform any audit under the supervision of the Secretary of State. In fact, the Antrim County was just a bystander on December 17th. And certainly the Antrim County Clerk didn't report any results of the audit because there was no audit. So
okay, this is really interesting to me. The Maricopa County Superior Court judge dismissed the Democratic Party's attempt to try and stop the recount of votes that's going on. People on the left basically say that these vote recounts undermine the confidence that the public has in the general voting process. And they also say that continuing to do recounts essentially is spreading conspiracy theories of the fact that widespread voter fraud exists. And today, the Secretary of State in Arizona even said that this sets a dangerous precedence for future events. But to me, I'm like, if you are so sure that voter fraud does not exist, why are you trying so hard to stop what's going on? If I had that level of confidence, I would say, sure, take a look at all the votes we have. I'm confident you'll find nothing. But here they are day in and day out fighting this process and trying to stop it at whatever cost, which I feel like to just about any sensible person sends the message that maybe you do have something to hide. And I also am curious how it is dangerous presence for we the people to want to know exactly where our votes have gone. I definitely would not consider myself a conspiracy theorist, but in hearing this, I honestly can't help but wonder what could they possibly have to hide.
First, I want to address the overarching idea or concept that the Secretary of State and the county are raising, that pursuant to their arguments, there's literally no mechanism available to someone like Bill Bailey to challenge the results of an election in his county when we have massive evidence of fraud that occurs in the county through these tabulator devices, the Dominion voting system, and fraud that occurs by the Secretary of State herself and the county clerk in terms of their failure to properly investigate or to certify what is clearly a fraudulent election. And this is fraud from the top of the ballot all the way down to the proposals 20-1 and 20-2. This includes the school board elections, the election for Michigan Supreme Court, and all of the township elections, the local elections. This includes the elections for the trustees of the universities in our state. Their overarching argument is that there's literally no mechanism for anyone within the county who is not an actual candidate to challenge any election where we have this type of fraud. And this is unprecedented what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a voting system where we have submitted substantial proof to the court that these voting systems are able to switch votes, to manipulate votes, and it is so easy to do. We've shown the court how we can do it, and in our filing this morning, we've shown how the actual fraud works and the subversion of what actually occurred.
The mainstream media be like, it doesn't matter what happens in Arizona. Oh yeah? Have you tried eating just one potato chip? Can you stop at one potato chip? I didn't think so. Once fraud has been proven in Arizona, it's only going to spread to other states.
Let's go ahead and get those in, hopefully by stipulation, if not under the 7-day rule. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.